Hello, welcome to the Self-Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Unit 14, Elements of Research Design. Research design is a kind of blueprint that you prepare before actually carrying out research. It is a systematically prepared outline stating the manner in which you plan to carry out your research. You may like to contemplate your research in terms of two facets, namely the empirical facet and analytical facet. The two facets remain in your mind together, while in practical terms you may plan your research in terms of a phase of data collection and another phase of analyzing the data. Theoretical orientation and conceptual models in your mind help you decide the kind of data you would collect and to some extent also how you would collect them. Later, while analyzing your data, again your theoretical and conceptual understanding of social reality in general will guide you to clarify the data and to recognize the pattern in order to explain and present your findings. Research is an ongoing process consisting of a series of steps, beginning with your identifying various concepts related to your research theme. Once begun, it continues through a set of regulated steps to its conclusion. This unit is about the steps that you state in your research design. We are going to discuss each of the 10 broad steps that generally constitute the basic elements of sociological researches. For your assignment of carrying out a mini research project, you may prepare a research design. Now let us discuss structuring the research process. The structuring of the research process is an essential part of science. However, this does not mean that these steps are always in a sequence. In fact, the various phases of research overlap. At times, the first step determines the nature of the last step. The steps involved are not mutually exclusive, nor they are separate and distinct. Let us take the process defining research problem, reviewing the literature, identifying the universe and unit of study, formulating hypotheses, and identifying variables. Selection of research techniques and methods, standardization of research, pilot study or use of statistical and other methods, collecting data, analyzing data, and interpretation and report writing. Research design is a strategic plan of the project that sets out the broad structure of the research. A highly standardized quantitative research strictly follows the research design, while qualitative research is flexible and amendments to the design are possible. Nevertheless, it is always a good idea to formulate a research design. A research design needs to take into account the following considerations, which entail all the steps mentioned above. The first is defining your research problem. In the research process, the first step is to select and clearly define the problem to be researched. You need to find the problem and formulate it so that it can be subjected to research. A research problem in general refers to some inquiry which a researcher undertakes in the context of either a theoretical or practical situation and wants to obtain an explanation of the same. The formulation of a general topic into specific research problems constitutes the first step in the scientific inquiry. Essentially, two steps are involved in formulating the research problems. That is, understanding the problems thoroughly and rephrasing it into meaningful terms from the analytical point of view. You need to select the subject that is familiar and feasible so that research material or sources of research are within your reach. It is better to select the research problem before a preliminary study of the existing literature. Formulating or defining a research problem is an important step in the research process, and a clearly stated problem is research half done. You need to clearly state the research questions in the light of the topic of research and the theoretical foundations on which it rests. Next, you need to spell out the aims and objectives as per the requirements of your research questions. This gives the research process a well-defined focus and direction. Unless one has a clear idea of the objectives, the course of the research will not be smooth and the data will not have the desired consistency, because it is possible for you to approach a topic from the viewpoint of different perspectives, each addressing a different set of issues. For instance, research on the sociology of development can have many research questions like women's role in development, the role of caste and kinship in development, or social consequences of development on family and community life of people. While preparing a research design, demarcate the focus of study by jotting down the outline and features of the topic and the aim and objectives of the research. Now let us move to the next point, choice of a field or sites. Embarking on the research, give as much emphasis to the area of research as the topic. To some extent, the choice of the area determines the success of your research. The relevance of a research topic depends on its usefulness to the problems of the area, either in terms of a practical purpose or obtaining a theoretical understanding of the epistemological issues. For instance, a study on communal relations cannot be carried out in the tribal village. In such a study, you would need to observe the interaction between the different religious groups, and therefore you would choose an area inhabited by people of several religious communities. It is desirable to have 2 or 3 sub-areas in mind within the broad area. For instance, sometimes you may encounter some unforeseen and unmanageable problems at the district level or the village level, and then you would need to find an alternative to fall back upon. You should first spell out your choice of field or sites and then start gathering information on it. This would help you gain an understanding of the geographical and socio-political conditions of the area, which would have a bearing on the collection of data. This would help you frame your research strategies and questions in a manner suited to the area and its people. Now let us wind up the session and take rest. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with the Self-Learning Podcast.